Tensions are rising between Russia and the US. Russian Foreign Minister has harshly warned against the presence of US nuclear weapons in Europe. Sergei Lavrov says Moscow considers the presence of US nuclear weapons in a number of European states unacceptable. Lavrov also added that the US nuclear weapons must have long been returned back to American soil. It is unacceptable for us that US nuclear weapons still remain in a number of European states in contradiction to the basic points of the Non-proliferation Treaty. US nuclear weapons must have long been returned home, and the corresponding infrastructure in Europe must have long been eliminated.
This is a direct facial violation of the Nuclear Non-proliferation Treaty, and even a common sense one. A treaty that is intended not to spread nuclear weapons to countries that don't have them at the time you enter into the treaty, and that they agree to it by signing the treaty, means that if they had no nuclear weapons before the treaty, they should have no nuclear weapons after the treaty. And so the United States, for some reason, does not think that that's how it works. They think as long as it's under American control, the entire planet can be blanketed with nuclear weapons as long as they have the button. That's not the intent, and certainly not the language, the stated language of the treaty.
Lavrov accused several non-nuclear NATO states of practicing the use of nuclear weapons with the help of US against Russia. He also underscored that Russia has always believed that there could be no winners in a nuclear war, and that such war must never happen. Russia has rejected the idea of Russia using nukes in the Ukraine conflict, saying Moscow would only use its nuclear potential in response to similar attacks against Russia or its allies. Russia and the US possess around 90% of the world's atomic weapons. The United States is believed to have an estimated 100 B-61 nuclear gravity bombs that are forward deployed at 6 NATO bases in 5 European countries. They include Italy, Germany, Turkey, Belgium, and Netherlands. The total estimated US B-61 stockpile amounts to 230. It's believed that weapons are not armed or deployed on aircraft. They are instead kept in underground vaults in national airbases, and the permissive action link codes used to arm them remain in American hands. To be used, the bombs would be loaded onto dual-capable NATO-designated fighters.
The states in Europe have demonstrated over the past month, if they haven't been doing it since 1945, that in essence the state apparatus in each member of the European Union, with a couple of notable exceptions like Hungary, are vassals of the United States, literally vassals of the United States. The populations in these countries notwithstanding, the governments are compliant.
On October 2021, the U.S. State Department issued an announcement indicating that the total number of U.S. active and inactive warheads is 3,750 as of September 2020. The stockpile figures do not include retired warheads and those awaiting dismantlement. There are now fears of a similar scenario witnessed during the height of the Cold War.
Instead, what's happened is the U.S. has militarized the entire continent of Europe with the exception of Belarus and Russia, and they've forced those to be militarized to protect themselves as weapons have been rolled up to their borders over in the intervening period since 1991.
In 2002, the U.S. unilaterally abandoned the Anti-Ballistic Missile Treaty, and in 2019, the U.S. unilaterally left the Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. European countries played a key role in establishing the INF Treaty in 1987 through the Nuclear Freeze movement, but in 2018, the abandonment of the treaty was met with relative silence from Europe.